Jackson Williams. I'm 17 years old. I've lived in Venice since I was 4, and as long as I can remember, since the time I was 3 feet tall, there's always been homeless people living in Venice, and never once have I felt that my life was in danger or I was unsafe walking down the streets. I give a lot. I'm a poet. I'm a local poet, and I give a lot of the respect to the homeless people for raising me. In many ways, they raised me to be who I am and the human that I am today. As poets, we're taught to be a great poet means to be a great human, and to be a great human means you have the capability to love one another. I want to commend Bill Rosendahl for his fabulous use of satirical language. He says in a beautiful way that taking out the homeless people in the trailers and placing them into a valley is a wonderful way to segregate the rich and the poor. I want to commend him on his wonderful language and the way he does that so well, that keeps so many people blind to his truth, to what his intentions are. I've never had a problem with homeless people. I see people building up these 9 feet tall fences. They don't want their children around these homeless people. They don't want to look at them. They don't think they deserve the common courtesy to look at their kids in the morning. They don't think they deserve the common courtesy to walk with their kids like their dogs do. Whenever a man is told he's not equivalent to a domestic animal, there's a problem. We need to reevaluate who we are as a society. And I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So thank you.
First of all, I'd like to thank my peers, community members, and friends up here who have said many of the things that I would want to say, and I'm really glad y'all turned out. My name is Wendy Kornbeck. I am a parent of a Venice student from Venice High School. I have the honor of working with wonderful students at Venice. My string players, my guitar players, my instrumentalists, my vocalists are here tonight in support of this community. And I would like to make a plea to you, Channel 7 Eyewitness News. As somebody who lives in the community, teaches sailing here, works with the Venice Boys and Girls Club of Venice, works with Creative Artists Talent Agency, I would like to make it known that Ramon Martinez, our superintendent, is cutting elementary school music, K through 6, as part of the budget cuts. There is no foreseeable plan to repair these music programs. Children will be without instrumental and vocal music, grades K through 6. And Ramon Martinez's solution to this is that the students in our community, if their parents want them to learn music, that the parents will have to pay for lessons. And on that note, I would like to thank the Venice Boys and Girls Club, not only for hosting this tonight, but whenever I need anything from my music program, Venice Boys and Girls Club has been there for these children every day, before school, after school. And this Venice Boys and Girls Club supports these children in this community. And I would like to get a question to Mr. Cortines, because when these students are not having access to music, the math scores, as we know, in this district will plummet. That is a fact. And as a student of LA Unified High School, and as a student of the programs here in Los Angeles Unified, if it were not for my music teachers, I would not be able to stand here and give back to these wonderful children who access four-year colleges and university programs and get scholarships and ride on the bus downtown from Venice High School to get music lessons and voice lessons through the PTA and other organizations that support us. Our band director, Ms. Risa Jones, who is the assistant marching band director of the UCLA Marching Bands, a second-year teacher, has received her RIF notice. She will be fired as of June. And I think that ABC Eyewitness News, which by the way is my news station of choice. Okay. My daddy worked at Metro Media for 30 years, okay? But the point being, you are my news channel of choice because I see you out there in the community. And I ask you to put the question to Ramon Cortines for these students who will not have access to develop the lifelong skills that it takes to become a reading and performing musician. When these math scores go down, when students do not have access to choral music programs and string programs and instrumental programs. Okay, when he sponsors those, when he takes away that access, how will my lovingly, beautiful, wonderful children at Venice High School of all nationality and race and creed and color, how will they get into college without those skills? Please, I ask you to pose that question to Superintendent Cortines on behalf of my children and on behalf of the Venice Arts community. Thank you.
My name is I've been living in Venice for 3 years, moved out here from Northern California. Unfortunately, every experience I have with a homeless person or a criminal, and I have a few, it becomes less and less desirable. It's unfortunate, it's a beautiful area, and that's a story that you won't usually get because those people won't be here. They won't be attending such meetings. They have mothers, like my wife, who is too afraid to push our 2.5-year-old son in a stroller. That is me walking with my father-in-law, who has been living in Venice for 45 years and is afraid to walk to the grocery store. The choice that you hear often is there's a choice between being compassionate and being threatened. And I think that those are false choices. And I say that because of course all of us want to be compassionate. Of course all of us want to take care of the homeless and the mentally ill and those that have had hard times. I myself have had hard times. I've been laid off. I've lived in horrible conditions in poor areas. I know what that is all about, and I am compassionate. So this idea that those that don't want homeless to be around them or on the way to the grocery store or the restaurant are somehow mean, horrible people is ludicrous. It is simply that we want to be safe. And that, just as those that want us to consider the efficacy of the point that homeless should be taken care of, should be compassionate to the viewpoint that others, for whatever reason, feel unsafe. And that, unfortunately, is lost in the philosophical debates and emotional-laden conversations that we seem to have in Venice. The one thing we can say about all Venetians is that we definitely like our arguments. We definitely like to discuss our politics, and there are clear divisions among us. And that's a good thing, and that's a bad thing because it divides us as a community. I can tell you that, as I've said earlier, that having lived here for now for 3 years, it's getting to a point that it's not fun anymore. I want to, if this continues, I'm going to have to leave. Because I want safety for my son, and I want to live in a place that I can be comfortable. Now, every community needs all kinds of people to make it successful, to create jobs, so that those that are in less fortunate situations can attain jobs with low skills. But if I'm having to go to wherever else to eat and to buy my groceries, thank God for posters now, the jobs won't be created in a neighborhood that people want jobs at. So I think that logic is lost on some people. The council members' office is doing what they can, trying to bridge the gap between those that are on the different political divides, but it hasn't always been successful.